Hey, how we doing today? So today is like one of my favorite topics because I believe it's like one of our most important topics that we're going to discuss. And in order to live the life that you want on your terms by your design of life, you are going to have to. It's imperative. It's a must that you stop giving a fuck. Yeah, I like to curse, but whatever. Truly, you are going to have to develop and work on that thing, that bone, that says, I don't give a fuck what you think because this is what I want to do. Lose, win, pass, fail, good, bad, whatever labels, hopefully no labels, you put on your decisions in your life. That's it. Shut it all down. Stop caring. I sit back and I try to figure out. I know what my problem is. I'll tell you what my problem was. The reason why I was always running things by people. What do you think about this? She said that and it made me feel that way. He said this and it made me feel this way. Am I okay? I was looking for somebody to validate my feelings, to tell me if something pissed me off or something agitated me or something grated my ass, that I was okay to feel that way. Can you imagine my entire life doing that? Like constantly wanting somebody to validate my feelings. How can my feelings be wrong? I'll tell you how. All while growing up, people tell you that. People tell you you're too sensitive. Oh, don't sweat it. Get over it. You wear your feelings on your sleeve. My grandmother, God rest her soul, she told me that once. She told me that a million times. And of course, because it's my grandmother, I wanted to listen. I wanted to obey and do what she says, like not take things so personally. Well, you know, telling me to not be sensitive is like telling me not to be hungry when I am, not to be sleepy when I am. I just am. And now, hey, it is what it is. Now I love who I am and I don't care who thinks what about it, but it took time for me to get there. So imagine my entire life, because I was always told my feelings were wrong. I never trusted my feelings. So I was always seeking validation for my feelings. Do you suffer from that? Like you're looking for, maybe you're not, and maybe it's not your feelings, maybe it's your doings, which is very, very dangerous. That's one thing I didn't have a problem with so much is my feelings, but maybe you're not doing the things that you want, or you are afraid to do the things that you want, or you're doing them but you're feeling inadequate because you're thinking or caring about what somebody else thinks about your decision or your choices or your life. Listen, we have to stop looking for permission, and we have to stop looking for that a girl, that a boy. Stop it. Once you're doing what you want to do, the hell with the rest. That's it. So I think I understand like why even as grown-ups we're still like, well, what do you think? Well, should I? You know, hey, I think we're doing that because we did it all while we were children. You have to think about it. Like all while we were growing up, we had to ask permission for things. So I think about grade school. In grade school, you couldn't just get up like kind of in college and go to the bathroom. If you had to go to the bathroom, you had to, teacher said put your hand down, but you had to ask for permission to leave your chair, to even go to the restroom. So our whole life we had to ask our parents for permission, our teachers for permission, our elders for permission to play, permission to stand, permission to leave the table. That's one thing. And then think about the other thing we always did. We were always looking for validation as children, and we were getting it, right? We were getting it in the form of gold stars. Remember, you get your report card and it'd be a gold star in the back of your report card. You're looking for it like, did I get a gold star? Remember we used to have like award ceremonies, and you hoping you get the award, whether it was a certificate, whether it was one of those little bitty awards you used to get for, say you got an award for perfect attendance, or you were the teacher's helper or whatever. So we were constantly looking for validation, looking for the gold star. Hey, I'll be honest, Peloton gives out gold stars when you do your personal best. I'm still searching for gold stars, because they give them out. So when you're constantly looking for validation from the outside, your inside suffers so dramatically. And while we all feel so unfulfilled and so inadequate and so unhappy, and we have to change that. And it begins and ends with stop giving a fuck what the next person is doing or saying. You know, Nike says, do you? Do you? And some of you are doing you. Some of you are doing what you want to do, but you feel uncomfortable about it because somebody else told you, I wouldn't do that, girl, if I was you. Or, why are you doing that? Or, ooh, I wouldn't date him. Or, ooh, I wouldn't live there. Ooh, I would quit that job. Get into a place. I know you guys have heard me say it time and time again about meditation. Meditation and therapy changed my life. Meditation allowed me to, it makes you sit still. And it forces you to, the whole purpose is to clear your mind of everything, to not think about anything. And when you sit down and do it the first few times, it is crazy because how many thoughts is flooding your brain, how many things you're thinking about at any one given moment. It's amazing how fast your brain works. We need to shut it down, slow it down, so we can go inside. Listen, this may sound like hokey to you, but all your answers are here. You know, you don't need anybody to tell you. You know, your gut tells you, your spirit, your God, whatever you call it, tells you what's right for you. Don't be afraid to listen to that voice. You don't need your mom to tell you it's okay. That if you want to take a year out of college and go backpack around the world, you don't need anybody to tell you it's okay. You need to just do it. Okay? Because that's what your gut is telling you that you want to do. If you want to quit your job or close down your firm that you've had for almost 20 years because you don't want to practice law anymore. You don't need your family to tell you you're okay. You don't need your boyfriend to tell you you're not crazy. You don't need everybody telling you are fucking crazy. You need to just do it because this is your life and this is what you want to do. If you want to have a kid, if you want to adopt a child, I met a lady who adopted 2 kids at one time, single, 40-something-year-old woman. Me personally, I thought she was batty, like, no help, 2 kids one time by yourself. Wow, like that's a lot. And I thought that's too much, but that's my life. That's my opinion. If she listened to me, she wouldn't have this fulfilling life and have these 2 beautiful daughters that she loves so much that's rewarding her life. She wouldn't have that if she listened to me. And that's the thing. You can't listen to people because people have their own lives, right? Like if you start listening to other people's thoughts and opinions about what it is you want to do and what it is you want to accomplish, you know how they're going to respond to you through their own filter. So, first of all, you never know people's intentions, but we'll get back to that. But okay, I'll give you a story. Many years ago, I wanted to buy my first piece of investment property, and I was very excited. I had found this FHA house, foreclosure, or HUD house. It was called HUD houses back then. I found this HUD house and it was $16,000. And I'm like, who can buy a house in the city of Chicago for $16,000? Woohoo, I want it. It was a little raggedy, little shotgun house, nothing fancy. And my grandfather, the love of my life, the man of my life, the man that I respect above all other men, the one who, whatever he says is law. I sent him over, said, this is the house I want to go buy. I gave him the address. He goes over. I wanted him to give me the money for the down payment because I didn't have it. And he went and looked at that little raggedy house and he said, are you crazy? That house is a piece of shit. Well, he didn't say shit because he wouldn't curse at me, but this is me talking. He says, no, Nicole, I'm not giving you the money for that. And you don't buy that house. That house is trash. That house is terrible. And he was partly right. It was. I mean, what do you expect? It was $16,000 in what? The 90s, and when real estate was, booming. So he didn't give me the money and he didn't support my decision. And you know what? I bought it anyway. And I actually think in retrospect, my grandfather developed a lot of respect for me because I did that. But I'm going to tell you something. That first piece of property was the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was so shitty. That deal went so far left that it took me 10 years before I bought my next piece of investment property. But when I tell you the lessons that I learned was invaluable and the money that I made, don't let me say I didn't make any money. It was the first time anybody ever wrote a check to Nicole G. Lawson for $20,000. It was $22,000 if I'm not mistaken. Like that had never happened in my life. So I made money. Ultimately it failed. But ultimately the lessons were, but my point is my grandfather told me not to do it. because my grandfather, through his own filter, thought it was a bad deal. My grandfather I was trying to buy a little frame shotgun house for $16,000. My grandfather had bought a brick bungalow, I don't know how many bedrooms, for $20,000, $17,000. Yeah, many years earlier, but his filter, his mind, his experience said, no, you can get so much more for that kind of money. That's what he thought. That was his filter. Not because he didn't love me, not because he didn't want what was best for me. Of course he wanted what was best for me. So it wasn't that. It's just that he could only give me advice based on his experience. And so my grandfather was 50 years older than me, right? So his experience was far different from a young 20-something-year-old lady that's growing and learning and excited and want to invest in real estate. He wanted me to get a job and get a job and work for 40-something years and retire, 50-something years and retire and live happily ever after. That's what he wanted because that was his experience. So when you're asking people their advice about your life and they're living their life and you don't know what the hell is going on with them, you don't know if they're happy. You're asking your girlfriend, oh, this guy, he's not calling me back. Should I call him? And she's like, nah, girl, he ain't shit, whatever. Well, because some guy is probably mistreating her and pissing her off right now. So that's her filter. Or maybe she's dirty in love and she's never had a bad experience in her life. And she's like, oh, give him another chance. He's probably a great guy. Call him. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I'll tell you and I'll share another story with you real quick. So when I was in high school, this guy had asked me out, and he was a couple of years older than me, and I was hanging out with girls a couple of years older than me. Check me out. I was so cool, right? Not. But anyway, I was trying to impress these girls that had allowed me into their circle that was older than I was, and I told him that he wanted to date me, even though I was afraid to date him, number one, because he was older, but number two, he was kind of like the bad boy type. I knew that, the rumor around school, and so I was a little nervous, and I didn't think it was a good idea, but I asked them anyway, and they told me, oh yeah, date him, he's so popular, he's going to be the prom king, he's so smart, he's really good in science, you should date him. So I did because I wanted to impress my girlfriends. I wanted to stay in the clique. And so I dated him. He was older, they were in the same year, and they knew far more about him than I did because they had been going to school with him for 4 years. So anyway, I started dating him, and sure enough, it was too much for me. I was way out of my league. He was far more advanced than I was. He was, he and his friends on weekends, we got together, and there was a lot of weed and a lot of alcohol. And at that time of my life, it was a lot for me, and I was afraid what my mom was going to do if I was, all these things. So anyway, I don't remember exactly what horrid thing. And sure enough, the guy, became the prom king or whatever, and so we went to the dance together, and that was really cool. I thought I was in the cool lane for sure. So I can't remember what horrid thing he did, and we broke up. Something he hurt my feelings, something I'm not sure pissed me off, and so I broke it off with him. So I come back to school on Monday with the box of his jacket, his Letterman jacket and all that stuff, and I come to breakfast to tell the girls that we broke up, and I'm nervous to tell them because remember, I only dated him because they egged me on to do it. So I was scared to tell them, but I'm like, I broke up, I gotta tell them before it hits, before everybody else finds out. So I go to school and go to breakfast. They sit at the table already, and I come up. I'm like, with the box. I'm like, yeah, look, here's his stuff. I broke up with him this weekend, and they kind of turned their head and said, oh, he's doing good. Should have broke up with him. Blah 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 blah. And kept talking. Wait, what did you say? So y'all looked at me again. It's like he's a bum. He's a creep. Why were you dating him anyway? You should have never been going out with him in the first place. Good, you broke up with him. Blah 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 blah. And kept talking. Baby, when I tell you I learned a very valuable lesson in that moment to do me and not them, I don't know what the hell happened. All I know is these women that I was trying to impress, that I was trying to be friends with, encouraged me to date this guy. And then when I break up with him, they tell me I was stupid to be dating him in the first place. Thank you for teaching me that lesson in high school. I try to just do what I want to do and not listen to other people. But I told you, honestly, the feelings part was my downfall, not so much the doing. Even though some of the doing I struggled with, like I told you, I bought that house even though my grandfather told me not to. But my point is, you see what I mean? So here we have girls I went to high school with telling me to do something, I'm getting their advice and following their advice. And they didn't have my best interest at heart, and obviously didn't give a shit about me at all. And then here looks my grandfather loves me more than anything. I was his favorite, and he didn't mean me any harm to advise me against investment and going forward with my dreams. He didn't. He came. That was from love. That he loved me. He wants the best for me. But still, I shouldn't have listened to him, and I'm glad that I didn't. Just like I shouldn't have listened to those girls at the breakfast table tell me to date that creep in high school. So don't listen to people, because people have their own ideas and shit, and guess what? They're living their lives. They're probably worried about what you're doing and what you're thinking, and you don't even give a shit. So stop it. Just, I know it sounds so simple. I'm making it sound so simple, but it really, really is that simple. I have this book. I've had this book forever, and I always kept it because I like the name of it, but it's called Sharpen Your Discernment. And that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm not necessarily saying to buy this book. This book you could, but this book is more like a spiritual book. It's really heavily about God and so on and so forth. So I'm not necessarily recommending that you buy it, but if you do, you can pick, like you do everything else, even people's advice. You take what works for you, what you value in the book or in the opinion, and you accept it and you reject the rest. So there's some certain parts of this book that I agree with, and it talks about doing the work and not waiting for people to give or do for you, including God. So that's what I'm suggesting, is that you put the work in, you sharpen your discernment. Well, Nicole, how do I sharpen my discernment? You sharpen it by going inside and trusting yourself, because trust me, the answer is there. You know it, you feel it, you're just afraid. You're afraid that you're gonna fuck up. That's what it is. And then everybody's gonna laugh at you. Maybe it happened when you were 6, I don't know. Or 46. Look, you're going to make bad decisions. Like I told you, that piece of property was the best decision and the worst decision ever. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to fail, but don't be afraid of failing, because baby, that's what the good stuff is. When you fail, that's when you grow and learn. The learning is in the failing. So don't be afraid to fail. And for God's sakes, don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid to be the shit that you want to be. Don't do that, okay? Go out here, make the decisions that you want, and to hell with the rest, because you know what? It's so much power in that. When you define and design your life by your terms and give a shit less what everybody else thinks, you own it. It's yours, and it's freedom, and it's beauty, and it's owning. It's power. That's what I want to say. It's power in owning your life. I love my life because my life is my design. And when I didn't like my life, 20 years in as an attorney, I redesigned it. It wasn't easy, and it was scary, and it was hard, and I questioned myself 50 million times, but I kept walking. I kept putting that left foot in front of the right. You know what I mean? I just kept moving, even though I was afraid. So please, don't let fear stop you, and please don't let what your sister think or your best friend thinks or your coworker thinks stop you. Why would you? Stop giving a shit about what they think. They're trying to figure their own shit out. They can't figure yours out. So why do you care that you wear your hair now? You're going to care what everybody thinks. Do you know how hard it was to start doing this? Now everybody thinks it's so cool. But 5 years ago, everybody's like, why she thinks she got good hair when she got nappy hair? You see? So if I would have listened to everybody else, I wouldn't have been living my life, and I wouldn't have been happy. I'm so happy because I'm sitting here talking to you right now because I wanted to, no matter how crazy everybody else thought I was. Everybody else was telling me if I had your hand, I'd throw my hand in. So what, I'm supposed to keep this hand because they want the hand, because they think it's a great hand? I wasn't happy with it, right? So please, I implore you, watch it 50 million times, email me 50 million times. I am here to support you to live your dreams, to live your life out loud, and shut out the noise and go inside, meditate, go to therapy, sit silently, trust yourself. And when you fail, just learn your lesson, get your ass back up and keep going. Because baby, when you win, it feels so good, okay? So we are going to sharpen our discernment, and we're going to stop giving a fuck about what everybody else thinks, so that we can finally feel adequate, and finally feel fulfilled, and finally experience joy in our lives. Okay? All right. Have a good day, team. See you later.